You have found the In the Verse podcast. Songwriting inspired by pop culture media. With your hosts, Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason.
Welcome to In the Verse, the podcast that makes music inspired by popular media. I am Marc Gunn, the creator of Firefly Drinking Songs, the show, and host of the Irish and Celtic Music podcast and the Pub Songs and Stories podcast.
And I'm Mikey Mason. I created the Beer Powered Time Machine podcast and currently the on hiatus MIKEYtalks podcast.
I was looking for that just the other day. I was like, what happened?
I got lazy.
Fair enough.
I mean, busy. I got very busy.
Fair enough. It's fair assumption. This is episode 7 of our new 10-episode season of the In the Verse podcast.
Since we ran out of episodes of Firefly to write about, to discuss, we're finding inspiration in other media, other episodes, TV shows, and comic books and cartoons. But Mark said no to video games.
I don't play them. Although I did play one the other day. It was like it had like, I don't even know what it is. I can't even tell you. But there was like people fighting from the 80s and Street Fighter or something. It might have been Street Fighter. Maybe so. As always, you can support us in this and other creative endeavors by supporting Mikey at patreon.com/Mikey Mason.
And by supporting Mark at patreon.com/Celtfather.
All right, we're going to start with some upcoming shows and some news. And, of course, every Wednesday you can find me performing Coffee with the Celt Father at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. However, it is mostly patron only. I do one public show per month, so most of the time you have to be a patron of mine. October 13th is Iron Shield Brewing in Lawrenceville, Georgia. October 19th is my Bandcamp internet concert, which is turning into a great thing. I've been having some regular people showing up each and every month. October 10th through 22nd, Multiverse Con. November 4th, Lost Druid Brewery. November 16th, the next Bandcamp concert. November 17th through 19th, Conjuration in just outside of Atlanta, and this is in a new location. And I got to tell you about the Nerdy Wonderland and Holiday Market at the Lost Druid Brewery, which was inspired by the Nerdy Noel in Huntsville, and I'm really excited about this, Mikey. So we were talking before the show about local concerts that we do, and I have sometimes there's not that many people that show up to some of my shows, and so I also have trouble finding shows during Christmas time, the holiday season. So I was like, well, I did this event in July called Nerdy Noel Midsummer Market, and it was based on a Nerdy Well Christmas market that they do, and it was really cool. It was a free event where a whole bunch of nerdy vendors gathered together in a location and sell their goods, and then I got to play music for the Nerdy Noel. And I'll do that again. But here I can do the Nerdy Wonderland, where I can do the same thing. I can sell my CDs and musical pens and USBs and Celtic heartstrings. But I'm going to do it in a holiday.
Strings? Sorry.
In a holiday. I was waiting for something, but you're waiting.
I was late. I apologize.
It's okay. But I'm really excited about this because I'm expecting that there will be more people who just want to come here, hear my music, even though while they're shopping, and that's kind of exciting to, have an audience, a nice size audience that wants to hear your music. They're geeks like me.
Yeah.
What about you? What kind of shows do you have coming up?
Oh, sorry. So I don't know if this is gonna. Let's assume that this goes off without a hitch and super quick. On the 13th, I have an online show here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Comedy Rock Geek. On the 21st and 22nd, so 20th through 22nd, I'll be at TsunamiCon in Wichita, Kansas. The 28th and 29th, I'll be making my debut performance at Ohio Valley Filk Fest, OVFF. I have a Sunday afternoon show, I believe, at 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, and then I'll be having monthly online shows. I don't have much on the books as far as appearances between now in January. MarsCon in Virginia Beach on January 12th to 14th. And, of course, new music every Monday on Patreon.com.
That's fantastic.
For as little as $1 a month, you can get a new song every week. New Music Monday. I've been keeping it up for like 3 years now.
That's
four.
brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. Good for you, man. I wish I could. I could. I wish I could, but I can't at present.
I wish I could too, because it's man, it's sometimes it wears on you.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I keep thinking about like my Pub Songs and Stories podcast, and I've done the same thing that I'm about to tell you for the past 3 or 4 years, where I'm like, I don't know if I should still be doing this podcast. Maybe I should be doing it once a month, or maybe I should record 6 episodes and release them, and then let it, sit for 6 months, and then do 6 more episodes. I keep going back and forth because it's so much time, and trying to wrap my head around it. It's just difficult. So I don't know.
Record a season, release the season.
That's kind of what
I'm later.
If I'm wondering if I should do. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, I have one that I want to plan, but I'm like, maybe I need to plan better and just, as you say, 6 episodes and then release a season. Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Some of the news that's coming up for me and that's happening is I am getting ready to do a Kickstarter for a new CD, which is called
You have CDs? Sorry. Not sorry.
No, you should not be. It's called Dancing with Hobbits. It is an instrumental dance album which that I am doing with my friend Sam Galogly. We started recording it a couple of years ago and been wanting to do this forever. So that will be kickstarting soon.
Is it going to be like that disco Star Wars album from the 70s? Is that what it's going to be?
No. This is more Celtic because, I do the Celtic music thing. So definitely not. I mean,
disco Hobbit Celtic.
You never know if one of the tracks gets remixed. You never know if one of the tracks gets remixed. So it could happen.
You should find a DJ to do that. I mean, you should really hook up with a DJ to remix one of your, specifically like for a bonus track for Dancing with Hobbits.
That might also require, having a solid timing. I'm not sure if I have a solid enough timing to do that.
I'm just saying, make it a stretch goal. All right, I'm gonna hook up with DJ Sauron for.
I like it. I'm writing that down right now because I'm totally adding that stretch goal.
You think Dancing with Hobbits is awesome? Wait till Sauron drops the bass.
I am totally stealing that. You know that, right?
It's a gift. It's a gift. You can't steal a gift.
Okay. Thank you very much for that gift. I love it. I have a new musical pens that are now in my store. There's one for Kilted for Your Pleasure, and the other one is the Star Trek pint glass, which you might have seen at Dragon Con, but if you didn't, well, you can get it now. And I also completed a Kickstarter for a Celtic Earth musical pen for the Irish and Celtic Music podcast. So go check those out in my store at magerecords.com.
Yes. Sorry, I'm taking a quick note myself, and then I'll get back into the.
Are you stealing the idea I just stole?
I am not. I'm setting up my ID. My ID is DJ Sauron. My account. So while I was at Dragon Con, you'd asked me about Dragon Con, and I had a good Dragon Con. So in Mikey news, as we know, Falstaff Books published my kind of memoir. It's part memoir, part song lyrics, called Confessions of a Geek Bard. And that came out in June, and it's selling pretty good. I got a nice, royalty check. Makes me happy.
Woohoo! Yeah, that's awesome.
So I'm on a panel with Falstaff Books, which is what's new from Falstaff Books, something like that. And sitting there with an entire row of authors from the Falstaff stable. And it turns out that several of the people on the stage, including John, who is the editor-in-chief of Falstaff Books and the publisher, John has this book series called Bubba the Monster Hunter, but he also, and Bubba's a truck driving Southern guy commissioned by the Roman Catholic Church to hunt monsters in the U.S. Southeast. and and John loves the idea of a combined universe and crossovers. Big fan of Marvel Comics. And so there is the Bubbaverse, and there are 3 or 4 authors who join him and write books in the Bubbaverse. There's a monster conservationist. There's a guy named Mason Dixon, who his job is to try and make sure that monsters who are endangered species don't go extinct. And he's doing this despite the fact that the Roman Catholic Church wants them dead, and other organizations, government organizations. So. And then there's a mom who fights monsters. So there are all these monster hunters, right?
Right.
And it seemed to me, when they were discussing it, that it was broken up by geographic territory, specific geography boundaries.
Yeah.
And so I asked the question after it. I was like, and I'm standing there with a group of the Bubbaverse writers, including John. And I said, how does it work? Are there specific geographic boundaries? I mean, like, is there a monster hunter in Indiana? And because that's where I'm from. Yeah. And John looks at me and smiles. He goes, "We figure it out as we go. There might be." and so the next morning, Jody's getting ready. We're going to go to breakfast with friends, and Jody's in the shower, and I type on my phone a little over 400 words, just typed a scene, an introduction scene. And it's rushed, and it's sketchy, and it's not completely fleshed out. But while we were at breakfast with friends, I texted it to John. I just sent him the scene, and I said, I just want you to run this past you just as a thought in case it's derivative and I missed it. What do you think? And his answer was, here's what I think. 4 novella contract, 30,000 words each. And this is 400 plus words, 440 words. I wrote on my phone in a hotel room while I was waiting for my wife to get out of the shower. So I sent him back a message. I said, John, based on our previous history, I'm going to take you at your word as you're being serious. If you are indeed joking, I'm going to need you to tell me outright. Right. And because the way the other book came to be was like, I thought he was kind of joking. And he was like, I am not joking. So I said, he responded, here's how serious I am. I showed it to our marketing director, and she is 100% in.
That's awesome.
So we haven't signed any paperwork. I haven't been offered the contract officially yet, but he's been very busy since Dragon Con.
Yeah.
And I haven't prodded him on it. But if I send him a chapter, he's going to send me a contract. And so that'll be 4 books at 30,000 words approximately each. And I'm getting ready to join the Bubba the Monsterverse stable, and I haven't even announced it on my Patreon yet, so I guess I need to do that before this episode drops.
You might have a week. Maybe not.
I don't know. We both have to write a song, so...
That's true. I forgot about that. Oh, yeah. Oh.
It was as simple as just editing this. That's one thing, but we both have to write a song. So.
Right.
Conveniently, I have a song due Monday, so...
I'm jealous right now, so there's that.
Hey, you could have a song due Monday, too. Just decide you have a song due Monday.
Well, I have a song that's due as soon as possible because I have this bloody podcast. I'll tell you, I'm a little bit worried about this episode, which because the Mandalorian runs so slow, and it's thematically it didn't feel like it has the oomph of the Firefly and the Doctor Who and Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I'm just like,
It's all right. I've got your title when it comes to it.
Okay.
So let's get into the plot synopsis and discussion that I ripped straight from Wikipedia and chopped up.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
And then we'll talk about the episode.
All right,
cool.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
So while the Mandalorian, Cara Dune, and Greef Karga, I love Star Wars names, are trapped, IG-11 rescues the child, who is not yet known as Grogu, and informs the group of Kuil's death. The Mandalorian finds a vent into the sewers where he hopes to find his people's hidden stronghold. Moff Gideon gives them until nightfall to surrender, or he will order his troops to fire before saying Din Djarin, which is the Mandalorian's real name. The Mandalorian and IG-11 remain behind while Dune and Karga take the child into the sewers, pointing out that a Mandalorian's face being seen is technically not a violation of the Mandalorian creed, as he is a droid and not a living thing. IG-11 removes the Mandalorian's helmet, revealing the latter's dreamy, face for the first time. After treating his injuries, they then rejoin the others in the sewers. It's practically a love scene between a droid and our dreamy Mando. Sorry.
Forbidden love. Arriving at the Mandalorian enclave, they find it abandoned, except for the armorer, who explains that the Imperials found the enclave when the Mandalorians revealed themselves. Upon seeing the child, the armorer is reminded of the Jedi, who Mandalorians see as their ancient enemies. She instructs the Mandalorian to take the child to the Jedi wherever they might be. She also carves a mudhorn signet into his pauldron and gives him a jetpack.
While the armorer remains behind, the Mandalorian, Dune, Karga, IG-11, and the child escape down an underground lava river. IG-11 decides to sacrifice himself by walking into an ambush and activating his self-destruct. After they emerge from the tunnel, Gideon attacks in the TIE fighter in which he arrived. Using his jetpack, the Mandalorian plants explosives on Gideon's fighter, which brings down the craft.
With the Imperials seemingly dealt with, Karga invites the Mandalorian to return to the guild, but he refuses as he must take care of the child. Dune elects to remain behind to work as Karga's enforcer. The Mandalorian buries Kuil's body beneath a cairn of stones and departs Nevarro. Meanwhile, Gideon cuts himself out of the crashed fighter with the dark saber.
The dark saber.
The dark saber.
It is a black light katana lightsaber.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I'm a little disappointed in Wikipedia's synopsis because it missed the best part of the entire episode, which is the Stormtroopers at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that's was it Andy Paris and Jason Sudeikis as Stormtroopers.
Oh my god, I love that. That's my favorite.
Jason Sudeikis is the Stormtrooper who punches Grogu. I mean, technically, he hits the bag to get the kid to quit making noise. And then the internet turned into, I will find you. I will kill you.
Right. Oh my god. It
turns into Taken. I have a very specific set of skills.
I absolutely love that. That was so cool. I love as they're sitting there, you know, passing the time. It's like trying to shoot something and can't hit it. You know what I mean? It's classic.
They miss everything. Oh, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So this plays out very Star Wars, and it is very kind of all of the emotional stuff is kind of wrapped inside of action stuff, because it is, even despite the fact that it is such a slow-paced show, and it is, the episode required that there be a lot of standoff tension. So they are in a standoff, and
true,
with an overwhelming force, and there's still a lot of action for the series. There's a lot of action.
Yeah, that's true.
So but so much cool stuff. But here is the thing: when she carves that rune, that signet, the Mudhorn signet, into his pauldron, and she gives him the jetpack, and tells him that he has to leave the covert. She refers to them, him and the child, as a covert of two.
Yeah. Was it covert or?
It's a covert.
Oh, I thought
you are a covert of two.
I thought she said something different.
No,
but
it's
okay.
Is it? It might be. But I'm
pretty
sure it was
clan of two. It was a clan of two. Yeah.
You are a clan of two. You have earned your signet. You are a clan of two.
Which I do like.
And there's your title.
Oh, that's two. Okay.
There you go. Clan of two.
That's a good thing to think about. I will keep that in mind. I mean, I did have things when I was taking notes that, I watched it several times since we kept pushing this back, the two of us. Yeah, a little bit longer. Sorry, man. Something else coming up.
Yeah.
But I came up with a lot of little things that I really loved about the episode. I love the introduction with the two stormtroopers chatting away and talking. He killed a dozen of his own. Gideon killed a dozen of his own troops just to make a point. It's like, what the? Which is just really funny little bits. But isn't a race? It's where they also do point out that Mandalorian isn't a race; it's a creed.
Yes.
Now, one of the things that struck me also was that, we talk about the themes of the episode. I realized the episode's called The Redemption. So I have a song actually already written called Redemption. So I'm going to just, parody that, filk that.
I'm going to add Clan of Two somewhere in there.
I'm not actually, but.
So Kuiil dies. I don't know if you remember who Kuiil is.
Yes. Yeah.
That's Nick Nolte's character. I'm not kidding. That's Nick Nolte, who is the voice of Kuiil.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. I Have Spoken was spoken by Nick Nolte. So, but that's that. And IG-88 kills him, right?
Right. Yeah. Yep.
So they can fulfill their objective of protecting the child. And anyway,
yeah,
I think one of the big things about this finish is all of these relationships with Din Djarin, they're all tentative. They're all, you wonder if you can trust, and even when she says you're a clan of two, what you have to take into consideration is here's IG-11, who was a bounty hunter droid, an assassin droid that was created to kill. And I think IG-11 was actually a prototype assassin droid. I'm not 100% sure on this. So Star Wars fans, other Star Wars fans who are much deeper into the lore than me, can rip me apart. That's fine. But IG-11 was essentially early on in the series sent to kill the kid, and they got him. They destroyed him and then got him rebuilt. and Din Djarin doesn't trust him. And Cara Dune is a mercenary who Din Djarin doesn't trust. And Greef Karga used to hire the bounty hunters and actually tried to have the Mandalorian killed and deliver the child. and they're all fine. They're all put in this position where they have to trust each other. And the one he trusts with the child is Kuiil, right? That Ugnaught who worked his whole life to be free from servitude and ended up honor-bound, or bound by his word, so technically honor-bound, to serve alongside, not serve under, the Mandalorian to care for the child, right? And then gives his life. So he works his whole life to be free of servitude, and he finds something that he's gonna serve, that's worth devoting his service to, right? And dies for it.
Yeah.
I mean, right there. So, and everything, and who kills him? IG-11, right? Who takes the helmet off of the Mandalorian? IG-11. Later on, spoilers, who does the Mandalorian want rebuilt? IG-11. Again, a second time, rebuilt a second time, IG-11. And so this relationship with IG-11, I mean, he that's when his trust of IG-11, who came in and protected the child, that's when Din Djarin's trust solidified. That's when it cemented right there. And all of these relationships start clicking into place, and he realizes that he is in two different coverts. He's in two different clans, right? Mm-hmm. He is a Mandalorian, but he's also something outside of the Mandalorians, and they are creating their own family, this loose clan through associations. It's exactly how the world works. You start meeting people and doing things with people and start trusting them, and all of a sudden, you have your one core family unit or your group of friends, and then all of a sudden you have this other bonded group through totally different experiences and for different reasons, and the bonds feel just as powerful even if they're pulling you in a different direction. And I think that is an overlooked theme in The Mandalorian, because we all get caught up in Grogu is cute, and but the whole concept of the foundling and him doing what the Mandalorian creed declares, and then later in the series, him fighting against the traditions, struggling against the traditions of Mandalore, which he definitely has some struggles, not to go into deep spoiler territory, but I mean, it becomes an issue later in the series. Because we want to see Pedro Pascal's dreamy face. Anyway, but I mean, this is where it all just sort of comes to a head, where he is now a part of three clans. I mean, he's as the armorer said, he's part of the clan. Well, he's not technically part, but he's part of that covert. He is part of his clan of two, and then there's this other clan that's building around him of people that he's trusting out of necessity, and then also out of because the necessity proved that they can be trusted. Although in Grief's case, Grief Karga, it's because you can trust him to benefit himself in any situation.
True enough.
But anyway, so that's my big thing. Is that for the two things that I really, the whole concept of your concentric circles of family, your Venn diagram, Din Djarin's Venn diagram of clans or coverts. And then Kuiil's, those are the two big things to me. Kuiil's, because he's an Ugnaught who they're born slaves, and he had to work his way out of servitude, and he's a free being. He's a free person, and just wanted to be left alone. And then here comes Din Djarin needing repairs, and all of a sudden Kuiil finds himself volunteering to be in service, not necessarily to Din, but to the child, for the sake of the child. And then in this episode, dying for it.
Yeah.
Man, I think honestly it could have been a little more impactful. Yeah. So maybe it wasn't handled, but then again, in the space opera vein of Star Wars, it was handled the way it was handled.
I think I think for Star Wars it was done well, and I think by the fourth or fifth time watching, it was a little bit more touching by the end. I mean, to me, I mean, it lacks emotional impact for the most part. But I still saw some things that other things that struck me, and it's thematically also was the base function of IG2, is that it? I forget what
IG-11.
IG-11, which is to nurse and protect. Which and that's kind of fits in a lot with what you're saying here is all the whole episode, you get a lot about protecting each of the characters along the way. IG, of course, is there protecting everyone, but then Mandalorian is there protecting, and finishes up the episode protecting the child, as you say, and they're all in that same direction throughout the episode.
And I need to pop in right here. Kuiil, who IG-11 killed to fulfill his primary function, which is to nurse and protect, was given that function by Kuiil, who reprogrammed him for that to be his primary function. So he killed his maker in order to fulfill the function that the maker gave him in the way that the droid saw fit. So there's irony and backbiting and skullduggery there. I'm sorry. Anyway,
no, absolutely. It's fine. Yeah. No, but that's one of the things I think probably stood out the most this in my most recent watching, because there's a lot of that. The care, reuniting with one's kind, and the foundling is in your care. You must care for it. And of course, sacrifice is another one that comes in, because there's a lot of, IG, of course, sacrificing himself, but also, the Mandalorian attempting to sacrifice himself for that, even though he didn't ultimately do that. But I see that as another theme that flies in there. I mean, when I look at it, I definitely like the idea of the clan of two, which I might pursue, though I think the nurse and protect also stands out quite a bit. I guess one of the troubles I had when I was, and the concerns is that when I take notes for shows in general, I'm like, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages, and this is like 2,
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's it, huh? That's all I got out of this. And a lot of it's because there isn't, I'm not writing some brilliant dialogue because it doesn't have it.
Right.
I've been watching Clone Wars, and they effectively reuse the same phrases that were initially put into the first 3 movies. I got a bad feeling about this over and over and over again in the episodes, and I feel like this does the same sort of thing, where it's a lot of reusing phrases and ideas from the Star Wars universe. I also did underline the Rising Phoenix, which I like. Have you trained in the Rising Phoenix? Which of course is the backpack that Mandalorians typically fly around with. I like that idea too, because it's Phoenix. They're awesome.
Yeah.
So are you planning on writing on the Clan of Two, or what exactly are you thinking about writing about?
I don't want to write a song that is deeply serious this time.
I feel like, I feel like that might be the best thing. I mean, I don't know if I can, but but I feel like, I'm right there with you.
That and it's not that I mean, maybe I'll write 2 songs. Maybe I'll write a song called Clan of Two if you don't. I don't know.
Yeah.
My instinct on this episode is to find, as it is with a lot of things, is to find something touching and emotional and use that to form the emotional core of a song. And what I want to do is not that this time. The reason I don't want to do that is because, both of, me doing funny, big things, is what my career was kind of built on.
Right.
But in the verse world, in the episodes, I don't think I've written an outright funny song. Maybe everyone wants to eat you. Everything wants to eat you was funny. But and that was and I think I want another funny song. I think I just want to make sure that I'm stretching in all directions, that I'm working all the muscles. So I want something that's probably going to be more energetic. And it's not going to be laid back, and it's probably going to be raucous and funny and obnoxious. And I think it's probably going to have the phrase, "I have a fucking jetpack." Now I have a jetpack, I don't know. I don't know. I might use the phrase Clan of Two. I don't know. Who knows?
I did have a couple of other things that immediately, as you mentioned, the comedy aspect, which seems like they could be used in a comedy song, which is Grogan uses the Force to stop a fireball, which I just feel like there's something there, for comedy purposes. And the other is, of course, the IG-11's, I need to take off you. I know it protects your central processing center. That was a joke,
Right. It meant to put you at ease. Yeah.
Meant to put you at ease, which I think is like a perfect little, possible thing you could do.
So here, and when you hit on Grogu using the Force, Jedis are often referred to as space wizards, and in fact, when Sir Alec Guinness took the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi, he referred to Obi-Wan as a space wizard.
Did he?
Yeah.
Nice.
So I think it is absolutely funny where the fantasy trope is that, or at least in role-playing games, is that wizards cast fireball. And, especially in role-playing games, they're like, I cast fireball. And then the DM says, but the room is too small. And then the wizard says, I did not ask how big the room was.
Right.
And so here you've got a ball of fire coming, and the only wizard in the party uncasts fireball or whatever. He's not casting fireball. But I mean, so yeah, there is absolutely something there.
Yeah. So those are some things to think about for myself as well. But yeah, I don't know what's going to be interesting. I had one more I saw that which
do the magic hand thing. Let's make the baby do the magic hand thing. Come on, baby, do the magic hand thing.
I'm writing that down really quick.
I mean, it's right there. It's in the script.
I know. Do the magic hand thing. Oh, okay.
And it's literally, the line is, let's make the baby do the magic hand thing. And then there's, come on, baby, do the magic hand thing.
I had written down something when I took the notes, which was, does IG-11 make good shrapnel? Because as he blows up, I was like, oh. A little dark, but it's like, I wonder. Yeah. So this should be an interesting one to write for. I'm curious how this is going to go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, let's split off and write some songs, and then come back and see what we did.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Womp rat sits upon a rock. We pull our blasters, give it a shock. A few shots and every one a miss. Why am I in the service? Stormtroopers wasting time. We're gossiping cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. Moff Gideon arrived disjointed. Killed a battalion to make a point he did. Flamethrowers make me happy, but not the force fireball coming right back at me. Stormtroopers wasting time. We're gossiping cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. Only one Mando was standing guard. I heard 6 stormtroopers just fell like cards. Armed outside a cavern door. Then explosion and shrapnel, so much gore. Stormtroopers wasting time. We're gossiping cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. That trooper must have been in shock when a droid opened up the airlock. Oh look, the blaster shot just hit his calf, but the laser fence cut him in half. More stormtroopers wasting time. We're gossiping cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. Ask you what's in the bag. You just let your finger wag. Please, please, let me have a peek. Dang thing bit me, I let out and shrieked. Stormtroopers wasting time. We're gossiping cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. I wish I was a better shot. Guess 'cause I'm a bad batch that can't be taught. We sit around shooting all day, got nothing better to do or say. Stormtroopers wasting time, we're gossiping 'cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. We're stormtroopers wasting time, we're gossiping 'cause we're not feeling fine. We miss no matter the shooter. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper. If anyone needs a drink, why it's a stormtrooper.
Mark and I make our living as full-time musicians. We love creating this podcast and sharing our music for you, but it would be near impossible to release as much great music and podcasts if it wasn't for the generosity of people just like you.
So if you enjoyed this show, please support what you love. Your generosity pays for the production and promotion of our music and this podcast.
I want to say thank you so very much to my amazing Patreon patrons who keep the music being made. My amazing misfits, especially Aura M, Reverend Chris Adata Smith, Dark Unicorn, Amy Stewart, Michael Candlewall, Josh Logan, Amy Morris, Les Howard, Brian Jackie, John Haidt, Strad von Zarovich, Scott Mealy, Scott and Melanie Weinhusen, Matt and Tracy Jackson, and the Hobbits, Jeremy D. Jackson, and Jennifer Lewis.
And I am always extremely grateful to everyone who supports my Gunrunners Club on Patreon. It just blows my mind, but I thank you so much. Thanks to my patrons, Nott Higgins, CJT Maxwell, Sarah Crockett, William McCassick, Carol Burrill, Luke Miller, Scott and Melanie Weinhusen, Alexis Marie Alm, Les Howard, Carrie Whitney, and Troy Rogers. Thank you again a million times over. Y'all are amazing.
So what's next?
And all of my patrons. These are just...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So what's next? Next time we're going to do The Witcher. And we picked the episode of Banquets, Bastards, and Burials. Do you remember what episode that is? That's episode...
Season 1, episode 4?
I think that
maybe
sounds
3.
Right. I think it's
either 1-4 or 1-3.
Yeah, so
we'll figure it out. It'll be a surprise.
It'll be a surprise. So if you want
the law of surprise.
Yes. Maybe we shouldn't have introduced what episode we were going to do. In fact,
we could be the Spanish Inquisition of podcasts. Fear and surprise, surprise and fear. Sorry.
All right. Thank you so much for listening. You can download many of our songs when you sign up on our Patreon pages. Find out more about Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason, how to support our music on Patreon.
We'd love your comments, your suggestions, songs, or lyrics, or links to videos to share in the next show. Use the hashtag #InTheVerse. You can post them on the Blue Sun Tour Facebook page or email me at mikey@mikeymason.com.
In the Verse was produced by Marc Gunn and Mikey Mason. Sign up on our website to find out more about the Blue Sun Tour when it happens at fireflydrinkingsongs.com.